What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and the Chef, joined by my co-host today.
Divalox 21, what's up? What it do?
It's a great day when we get to talk about the Knicks, especially after the Knicks came off of a nice, really impressive win against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who don't seem to have an answer when they're playing against the Knicks. Knicks won 107-98. The Knicks are still holding on at fourth, in the fourth spot in the East, which is definitely needed for them. Um, I thought it was a good win for the Knicks, considering we had a huge scare within the first, I don't know if it was like 45 seconds or 47 seconds of the start of the game. Jalen Brunson starts limping and hopping along. It's very nerve-wracking. We didn't know what was going on with him. I mean, the game just started. But I did read today, right before we went on, that the X-rays from Brunson's contusion came back negative. Everything was clean. They said he's feeling better. I know Jalen Brunson said that he's fine, but I know Tibbs said he's not there yet. So right now he's listed as day to day. Um, you know, Honestly, I think even with Jalen Brunson, if he doesn't play again tonight against Atlanta, the Knicks should be able to win this game, being that Trey Young is out. But we're gonna touch on that later on. But I did want to go back into the win against Cleveland, which I thought was an impressive win considering the Knicks were another man down. I know you had texted me and said the Knicks don't seem to be able to catch a break. It seems like every few games someone's going down. And it's just unfortunate, because this team is going places and this has been a really productive season for them, but they're still fighting, and I love that. Um, First quarter, Knicks outscored Cleveland 28-19. Second quarter, Cleveland went on a run. They outscored the Knicks 34-23. Third quarter, the Knicks bounced back 36-25. And in the fourth quarter, it was even at 20 points apiece. But nonetheless, the Knicks came out with a win. With Jalen Brunson going out, that left Miles McBride to have to come in and run the play point guard. Miles McBride played 47 minutes. He finished with 16 points, 5 assists, but I thought he did a really good job. His energy was there. I liked what I saw from him as far as the decision making, considering he didn't have who I know you alluded to before. He seems to play better with Jalen Brunson in the game. Bojan Bogdanovic, he played 30 minutes. He finished with 20 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Definitely needed those 20 points from him. Jericho Sims played 21 minutes, has 6 rebounds. Alex Burke played 11 minutes. And you know what? We're going to touch on him some more because we spoke about him before the last episode. I think Alex Burke's minutes are going to be in limbo because he still looks lost. He looks like he just came from the G League. He looks like he still wants to be playing in Detroit. If you ask me, I said this before. I'm gonna still continue to keep saying it because I'm not understanding what's going on. He just looks really lost out on the floor. He played 11 minutes, finished with 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Dante DiVincenzo played 39 minutes, finished with 28 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Um, I mean, Dante DiVincenzo's shooting has been really great. I'm loving what I'm seeing from him on the shooting. And then also just seeing the ball, seeing his man, and just getting in those cutting lanes and just having active hands. I'm loving that from him. Isaiah Hartenstein, I feel like Tibbs had to play him just because, again, it's a man down situation. He played 23 minutes. He finished with 8 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. So he had a nice triple single, as Queen alluded to. But it's true. But he was needed in that game as well. Precious Achua played 22 minutes, finished with 14 points. And Josh Hart carried the team. I think this is the Josh Hart that I've been looking for when I was complaining about the Knicks giving him the 80 million. And I felt like the Knicks gave him that money too soon. And there's a part of me that felt like he did. And I know you were telling me that I can't expect Josh Hart to be such a scorer because that's not his role. And I've accepted that. I understand that that's not his role. And I think the reason why I've made the comments is because he's proven in past games before we had all the injuries that he can give you 17 to 20 points in a night, that he can give you a double or a triple double in a game at any given moment. He played 45 minutes. He finished with 13 points, 10 assists, and 19 rebounds. He had 10 rebounds, I think, within the first half of the game by halftime. It could have been the first quarter. I got to check the final stats. But he played the game effortlessly. I liked what I saw from him and the energy was there. And this is what I've been looking for from Josh Hart. I feel like he's gotten his energy back, being that he literally played last season. He had the twins, came back, played with FIBA. Knicks started. I didn't like what I saw. But lately, he's been back to that Josh Hart that we saw when the Knicks signed him last year. Um, but nonetheless, I thought the Knicks played a pretty solid game from Cleveland. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a game that we've all been waiting for the Knicks to have. Their starting point guard went down, and Deuce just showed up and showed out. Let's hope we can have a repeat, really, of all of them. From the whole cast, from the starters to the role players to the bench.
Mm,
You don't want to take no team lightly. It, it'd just be nice if we could just continue on that win streak. As we know, we're coming out to the home stretch. No game should be, all games that do matter should, hopefully we could get a win because they get ready to go on that road trip, that West road trip. So you want to build some momentum there, while you're playing at home. Um, and then, just want to touch on, each not each individual, but just like some of them, where they stood out. Josh, I'm not going to mention that because this is like this is the game we've all been waiting for. Josh, and maybe he found his footing, because he did come in, late. So this is, some plays respond differently. Let's just hope that he could just continue, on that path to the crashing boys and be that get them hustle plays and continue to play great. um Bogan, this is this is a nice bounce back from him, because him and Burks, that Warriors game, they were horrible.
yeah,
So Bogey, he seemed to found his footing. Alec Burke, we collectively as fans, we're all waiting for him to just have like some type of impact, and a breakout game for that matter as well. Let's hope he get there soon, because we don't have many games left. Like,
exactly.
come down to game 81 and 82, and now you want to have that breakout game. Let's hope, and again, it's all about just being confident, remaining confident, and just trust your shooting. So let's just hope he can get one real soon. Um, you know, Pressures, just being consistent and just overall as a team, you want them, to stay consistent because, you know, the hustle plays there, their culture is grit, grind, the effort is there. So that they're capable. They don't give up. They still continue to fight and hustle and play. They don't make excuses. So this is what you want them continue to do. um just go out there and compete and just stay on that consistent path. um they because this was like I said, this was a great win for them. um you know, their starting, player was out with Donovan. Our player Jalen was out. So these are like guys just stepped up at the right moment. And this is what you want them to continue to do. Just continue to step up. You know, Dante, he was, we saw some flashes in the first quarter, then he cooled off in the second, then he got back hot, in the third. So, again, it's all about consistency with them at this point as well. Um, you know, you don't want to take no team lightly. So, I mean, I was just like, this game, it was a nice game to see, and to watch.
But do you think that, guys like McBride, Josh Hart, I think pretty much the roster that we have now, them playing the way they're playing, is that sustainable?
Um, I think so, because it's what players are down, so it's not like Randall OG's coming back tomorrow. You getting some relief. Unfortunately, you have to just keep grinding, because and this is what's asking you. You're playing a lot of minutes, but this comes with it. Unfortunately, this is a part of it, because your core players are down. So, okay, well, I gotta just continue to keep myself, mentally and physically ready, and I gotta, just keep grinding. And this is what they're all about, that grind. So, I mean, I think it can be sustained. Yes.
Yeah, I want to say I agree with you. The next man up mentality is important, and that's where Tibbs is coming from. I just think that, like I said before, this group of guys have to learn how to win without, Randall, without OG, and now, without Jalen Brunson until he is comfortable enough and feels good enough to come back into the games. But my biggest thing is, can this be sustainable when you start to play other teams? And I think tonight is another test for the Knicks on, can they be able to sustain that energy that they brought against Cleveland, which we know Cleveland are unable to beat the Knicks, not to that level consistently where they can beat the Knicks. But I think in a game like tonight, like I alluded to early at the start of this, the Knicks should be able to beat Atlanta because they don't have Trey. I'm not saying to take them lightly because that doesn't mean anything, but I think that when you don't have those key guys on a team, it's just like how other teams have tried to capitalize against the Knicks, not having Randall, not having OG, and they know the Knicks there's a man down situation. I think that, you know, if Deuce can, I think, see, the thing is, they need contributions from other guys. It can't just be DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. So I think you need the other guys like Bogdanovich. You need Miles McBride, Precious Achua, Isaiah Hartenstein. They all have to contribute. It can't just fall on the same three guys. If not, they're gonna fall. The Knicks are gonna fall flat. So I think that it can be sustainable moving forward, and the Knicks can pull off wins if they get help from those other guys and everybody's playing that team basketball and can come together. And that energy has to be there. The third quarters have to be strong. The first quarters, as soon as that jump ball have to be there, has to be strong. So I think it's a multitude of things that are going to be combined where the Knicks have to be able to, everybody has to contribute in order for this to be sustainable and for this team to be able to win. Um, Team stats for against Cleveland, the Knicks were at 48%, Cleveland was at 44%. 3-point percentage, the Knicks was at 41%. They were 16 for 39. Cleveland was at 38. They were 17 for 44. Free throws, Cleveland was awful. They were 3 for 8. And I mean, the Knicks were no far off. They were 7 for 10 at 70%, but the fact that they only took 10 free throws, are understandable. You don't really have the type of players on the floor for the Knicks who are going to draw those fouls like that and get to the line. Cool. Total rebounds, the Knicks finished with 47. Cleveland had 39. Both teams finished evenly with 10 offensive rebounds. Defensive boards, the Knicks finished with 37. Cleveland with 29. Assists, the Knicks finished with 32. Cleveland had 31. The Knicks did have a I mean, we had great blocks in that game, especially from Precious. Knicks finished with 9, Cleveland with 5. Knicks had 8 steals, Cleveland had 7. One of my favorites. The Knicks only had 9 turnovers, Cleveland had 10. When the Knicks have 10 or less turnovers, they're more likely to win games. The points in the paint are still down for the Knicks, 42, which is where I feel like we finished in the last game. It was at 42 or 44. Cleveland had 38. So that's something the Knicks still have to work on. It's tough right now. You don't have, you don't have a Mitch, you don't have a OG or a Randall who could attack the paint and give you those points in the paint like you would want. But nonetheless, the Knicks actually need tonight's win as well because Philly's right on their back. So is the Magic. The Knicks are sitting at fourth still. They're at 36 and 25. Philly's in fifth at 35 and 25. Orlando's at sixth, 35 and 26. And Miami's 34 and 26 and seventh. So, you know, I saw Eddie put in the chat earlier that he wished that the Knicks would have won 3 of their previous games. And I agree. The Knicks not winning a few of those past games actually hurt them because again, I've been saying this for a while now. I think it's important where the Knicks finish off in the East. To me, if they slip off and go to sixth, seventh, it's dangerous territory. And I know last episode people were in the chat saying, well, the Knicks can match up against anybody. Yeah, they can when healthy. But right now, when you get guys that's coming back from injuries, they're not going to be at 100%. They're going to be at 65, 70%, and then they're monitoring case in point Randall. I know they said Randall's now practicing with the practice pads. So he's getting the pads thrown at him while he's practicing. OG Ananobi is still getting back into the field of things, and Mitch is still like a long way to go. He like just took the boot off. But I don't know. I just feel like where this team is trying to go, they can go there. But I think that the Knicks have to win these next few games, especially tonight's game against Atlanta. They can't really afford to slip, any further back because then now you're going to fight to try to get back and forth. And Cleveland has made such a nice run with their wins, like they I think this was only this loss to the Knicks was their 21st loss. So with teams like the Knicks, Philly, Orlando at 25, 26 losses, the Knicks, honestly, a game like tonight, they have to take. Do you feel like the Knicks need to win tonight's game, or do they still have wiggle room um, as far as standings go?
Well, I just want to touch on something because I know the chat they, and we haven't even touched on that. I know, with the new addition that they did sign. And then Paris Duggar, he puts, something, no, we're not, no, we're not diminishing, hold on, what was this? What the other players do, 'cause they did contribute. iHeart, and Precious, they did, they helped us tremendously. But you know, the game prior to that, Precious, he sort of, with the Warriors game, case in point. And that's what I'm talking about, like just the consistency, more so being inconsistent. And Precious been consistent. He just had a bad game for the Warriors, but he did bounce back, during the Cleveland game. So no one's. We're not certainly not diminishing them. And they made great contributions. Um, and then, like I see, like the chat, a lot of people, have mentioned, which, I know you were going to touch on that. But um, they can, this is a winnable game. And again, we're going to touch on that new addition, Shake. Um, you know, they did sign Shake Milton. He's kind of, a veteran. He's been around the league, so that's a nice pickup for them. Um, you know, he's definitely, he can, help relieve, Deuce, because as much as Tibbs, going with his boy Alec, he still hasn't gotten his foot in yet. So, you know, maybe Shake can come in here and shake some things up, and help, Deuce. Even 47 minutes, that's not sustainable for Deuce. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I certainly don't diminish no player. But you know, can he do that again tonight? Who knows? Yes, maybe he can. But it'll just be nice, that that you have some relief, with the signing of Shake Milton. I think that this is a winnable game. And they could sustain, just winning overall down the stretch. We know their next game after this is Orlando. And we know where we stand with Orlando, you know. Um, so I think this is a much needed win for them.
Yeah, I think that the Knicks, to me, this is a definitely a winnable game for the Knicks. I think the Knicks do need to take this game. I think that this game, I think the next few games the Knicks need to worry about taking. Um, I'm not knocking the Knicks considering with all the injuries. I applaud them
Exactly.
actually for still being in four. It's not easy going in, night out, playing against teams, and considering with their upcoming schedule. These next few games, the Knicks should be able to take these next three. You have Atlanta tonight. They play Orlando Friday, and then Sunday you have Philly, which I believe it leads into a back to back. They play Philly back to back, but you already beat Atlanta, you beat Philly. So really the Knicks need to prove that they could beat Orlando. And I really would love to see the Knicks beat Orlando because Orlando has been a problem for us. And the Knicks just seem to struggle pulling off a win against Orlando. But they're beatable. But it'll be even better to see this roster that we have currently be able to beat them. Um, you know, I don't want to rush having Randall and OG come back. I think if they can come back, I've heard people say like the middle of this month. I'm even saying let's push it another week or two and let's get them back or try to get them back at the end of this month. Just because, again, when they come back, I think we all as fans have to realize when these players come back, they're not going to be, I don't want to say they're going to be at 50%, but they're probably going to be more at between that 70 and 80% when they first come out and they're playing in a live game situation. So I think those are things that you have to account for as far as, your superstars or not superstars, but your main guys coming back. Um, do you think that, or rather, do you want to see Randall and OG come back before and play a couple of games before the playoffs start? Or
No,
do you want to see them come back for the first round?
definitely for the first round. And I just want to touch on you, like Paris said. He said, I wasn't saying y'all, it's Twitter, and it is like, and and I get it because even I'm on, like, I saw on Bleacher, people was complaining about Brunson not playing tonight, and I chimed in with somebody. I said, well, do you want an injured player or a healthy player? You pick one. You can't have them both. Do you want them at their best when you know that what you're going to get from them when they're at their best? And then if they come back, half-hearted, then now you're gonna complain anyway. So, but you got to pick one. So with me personally, no, I want them, at their maximum best. If they have to sit out to the end of the season for the regular season, and so be it. These guys right here, they know what it takes to win. And for any success, they got to continue on. And like I said, they don't make excuses. They continue to grind. They bought into the system already, so what it takes for to get to that next level. So no, I'm all for them, sitting out. If so be for the regular season, get as healthy as they can so they can come back at 100%. And then we know what we're going to get, as opposed to if they come back early, now then everybody's going to be up in arms. Oh, they ain't shitting and can't. So you can't have it both ways. You got to, pick your poison. So no, I want them come back at their best. And if that means sitting out, and coming back for the first, during the playoffs, I'm all for it. I'm gung ho for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't I it's entertainment on Twitter, but yeah, I think that you know, we'll move on to Shake Milton acquisition, and the Knicks acquiring him. I don't remember who in the chat said it the last video. I can't remember who. Whoever it was, let me know. Whoever you were that said the Knicks should go after either Patty Mills, and then you also said this person said or Shake Milton. I don't know if it was you, Knicks are nice. I don't remember who it was, but somebody definitely put it in the chat the last video.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I remember.
right, because I had highlighted it, I brought it up on the screen. So someone in the chat definitely mentioned Shake Milton and said that the Knicks should sign him. And I wish I remembered who it was, because I remember I said, damn, somebody in the chat said that and had mentioned it. Um, So, but I like the acquisition of Shake, because I did watch some of his previous highlight videos, and he's not a scrub, this guy. Honestly, I think if he goes out and shows out and does what he do, I think Alex Burke's minutes is going to go to that what Grimes minutes did. They're going to dwindle. And I think Tibbs, he's going to stick to his typical 9-man rotation. But I think Tibbs right now, because he's so limited to a full roster of his options and who he wants to use, I think Tibbs is going to go, okay, well, if Burks ain't got it tonight, I'm going to go with this guy, Shake. You know what I mean? If Shake ain't on it, then I'm going to have to go with Deuce. But he's going to go with who's hot for that particular game. I don't think that Tibbs is going to necessarily try to ride out with whoever's just being trash. Now, yeah, I know coaches are all for um, playing players who and encouraging players rather to continue to keep shooting, right? But I think with Tibbs, he's gonna go with you not hot, and with the way Burks is playing, if Burks continue to keep playing the way he's playing, Tibbs is gonna go and give Shake those minutes, and Shake is gonna get the extra minutes. And I think it's gonna be well deserved, because Alex Burks was very lost out there. I don't know what's going on. It's too much dribbling. It's all over the place. So I think if he continues to play crappy, those minutes are gonna go down. He's gonna be playing with Deuce McBride uh was playing before. 4 minutes, 5 minutes. If you can't buy a basket, you can't make a layup, you can't hit a 3-point shot, Tibbs is going to have to make that call. And honestly, I think that's where he's at right now. But we'll see. But what are your thoughts on the Knicks acquiring him? Do you like that move? I mean, I like it a lot better than Burks, but what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, for sure. I definitely thought that that was a nice pickup. Many times you could get a person, you know, again, and they didn't seem to, you know, finding these players that, I don't want to say like a steal, but that sort of fits in, with what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish, as opposed to, you know, wasting, away, you're swapping and things like that. So he's a great pickup, and in the backcourt, because we're all alluding to, with Burks, he still hasn't found his footing. Um, and he seems, Shake seems like he's gonna just come in and just, and help, not looking to, you know, take over. He know his role.
Mhm.
And it's something like Patty Mills, they, as you mentioned, but I think who got him? I think was it Miami that got Patty Mills? I think so. Either way, it's a nice pickup for us. He can definitely help in the backcourt. Give us, 10 minutes, especially now that Brunson is down, he
Right.
can help, alleviate, Deuce. So nice pickup for the Knicks stuff.
I agree. The backup to the ball handling, I think, is key, and I think that was a great pickup. Um, I know I saw an article. I think it was Trey Young's dad had made a comment about the Knicks signing Shake, saying how like the Knicks seem to always get these good pickups, and how he's good and he's a good fit for them. And like you said, they tend to get these good pickups at a steal. The Knicks are still coupon shopping, but they did need a backup. And I've been saying that for a while, that the Knicks needed backups to certain positions on the team, but
Yeah,
especially for Brunson. And I like Deuce, but you're going to need somebody else to back up that position because Burks isn't really, he's not there.
yeah,
Salute Parrish Duggar. He said Burks just has to pass more. He's taking heat check shots like he's playing on a bad team. Exactly. He's playing like he's still playing on Detroit. You're not on a losing team anymore. And as many years as he's been in the league, you know better than that. You're not
yeah.
on a losing team anymore, nor are you on that old Knicks team that was a losing team anymore. This is a winning organization now. We're a winning team. Stop all of that crap. I don't know what he's doing out there. It looks crazy to me. It
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like, what are you doing? He looks like he just came from college or something. Like he's just not ready. I don't know what is. I just don't like what I'm seeing from him. Every time he gets out there, it's the same feeling I got whenever I saw Taj even warming up with the Knicks. I don't want to see Burks on the Knicks. And until he start giving you 15 to 20 a night, maybe then I'll be quiet. But for right now, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Burks. It's just crazy. Yeah, Deuce has to start. Deuce has
yeah.
to
But
start.
and like with Shake, he can do the point or the shooting guard. So that's a nice
Right.
pickup, you know, for the Knicks. And then in the meantime, until we know the status and when Brunson's coming back, and in that way he don't have to rush back. Sit out today and possibly that next game with Orlando. Yeah,
Hmm.
Orlando has size, but these guys, they know what it takes, and the culture of where they stand. So you know, hope that's a nice pickup.
Yeah, I think that he definitely is going to be needed, and I think that he can also be like one of those X factors moving into the postseason. You know what I mean? I see Shake finding his footing with this Knicks team, and I think he's going to give us something that the Knicks need. Almost like how Deuce comes in and can give you 14, 16. I see him giving us the points, the passes, the hustle plays, that back up to the point guard position. You know, yeah, I agree, Parrish. But I don't know. Burks can't even. And then if he, here's my thing though, even if you are going to give us 10 to 12 points, don't make it a sloppy 10, 12 points. I'm not saying every basket's going to be pretty, but I just feel like with Burks, I don't know. It's very hard for me to put it in words, and I'll have it for you guys by the next episode. I got to figure out the verbiage of how I'm trying to really explain it. Like the
Yeah,
way he's playing, he's making it harder for himself. One, sometimes I notice he gets in these corners where you shoot the shortest three, and he'll get doubled. There's too much dribbling. He can't seem to figure out where he wants to pass the ball. I just don't like it. I don't like it. And but I agree 100%. I think if Burks could give you a solid 12 to 14 points, anywhere between 10 to 14 points, I'll take it. But if you only giving the Knicks 4 points and one or two assists, that's not gonna cut it, my boy. It's not gonna cut it. So he's gotta just he's gotta just stop forcing Air Jordan shots. Yeah, not on this team. That was
Yeah.
cool on Detroit. Monty allowed that.
Well, it's not so much they allowed it, they didn't have outside of Cade Cunningham, Bogdan, plays
True.
like that. So it was like he had to be the man. But here you don't have to be the man because we have plays that, it's like he he hasn't seemed to found his role here. He
But
know
why
what
do you
he's
think that is? I mean, and I'm asking this because not just because Burks has played on the Knicks before, but you've been in the league. Like, shouldn't that come with time?
but that's what I was saying. Like he hasn't found his footing yet. Like you don't have to be the man here. Like just
But
give
why
us
do you think he's found his footing here?
why he hasn't.
Yeah,
That's a good question because Bogdan he seems to like again it's different players and that this
different style.
preparedness that mentality Bogdan has seemed to like know he like I'm not a defensive guy so I'm just gonna just do shoot like Burks he has to I mean, all players has to play defense, but both don't say, I'm not no defensive type of guy, so you not gonna get that from me. Let me just give you my 20 points and whatever I can contribute. If I can give you more, I can give you more. But with Burks, it's like he, and that's why I was alluding to. He needs to, find that game where he can, you know, a breakout game, and maybe that will boost, his momentum and get his juices flowing. And then you're like, oh, okay. Again, I don't know what's going through these players' head, but for him, he hasn't found it yet. And um, as much as Tibbs, believe in him and have him in the game, it just hasn't clicked with him yet. But he better get it right because somebody else is getting ready to come, take those minutes and
Exactly.
whether it's a situational play or not. But now you're gonna be relegated deep down in that bench, So um,
Yeah,
I'm rooting for the I'm rooting for I'm all Knicks and just want everybody to contribute because that they can. But let's hopefully maybe this would be the night where he can you know, 12, 15, and not forcing and things like that.
hmm yeah. I think that's a good point. Maybe because coming from Detroit, where he had to step up and be one of the top guys, and on this Knicks team, we don't necessarily need you to do that. But I think that's where, as a player, a good player knows where to find their footing on a team. And I just think Burks hasn't been able to adjust to finding his role here on the Knicks. And it's unfortunate. But what are your thoughts on Josh Hart and him stepping up and showing that leadership role and bringing that energy that the Knicks so desperately needs? There's been definitely a shift upwards from him compared to a few months ago where we were like, he seemed a little sluggish. It was just not even necessarily a step too slow, but he wasn't bringing that same hustle plays and energy that we were used to.
Well, that's you gotta remember, Josh brought us this last season. When they signed it was sort of at the tail end. So maybe he's like that at the season, type of guy. We like to see throughout the whole season. But as I said in a previous podcast, Josh is not that player, that that people want him to be. This is who he is, but it's nice that he's able to take it up a notch. And it's and especially, Brunson be or not just Brunson, just with our limited roster and the injured players. So it's nice that he's like, okay, like I allude, Josh is like the energizer bunny for the Knicks team. He's like that player, like, you know, um, and he's like JB, where he sacrificed his body, where he drive down one end of the he gets the rebound and Josh like, he's out. So that's what you need.
Mhm.
And he knows his role, and players, that's what they need to understand. Like, this is my role. Um, can I give more? Yes, and I'm gonna try. And some players, just as much as they try, they just can't, for whatever reason. But I'm kudos to Josh, man. Couldn't have came at a better time, because considering we're going down the home stretch. Just keep it up, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I really like the energy that Josh Hart has been bringing. It's a lot of the hustle plays, it's the aggressiveness. It started off with the strong rebounding that he was doing with stepping in and filling that role in and grabbing the boards for the Knicks. And then that turned into a combination of rebounding and assists, and he was giving you the double doubles. And now he started off, just going crazy, being a quiet player, averaging triple doubles. But I just think his energy is well balanced and he seems to stay composed throughout the game. And he's able to give you a little bit of everything for the Knicks. And also Deuce McBride, too, because he has nice, solid energy from first quarter to the ending of the game. But I just think that Josh's the it's the little things that he's doing that's showing up on a
Yeah.
stat sheet that
Hmm.
is making for a great deal at the end of the day for the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I just I hope he can keep that up and keep it sustainable as well, which I can see him doing. Same thing with McBride. I just think
Yeah, I just want
McBride.
to just chime in something with Paris Duggar. He was here. Josh was a fat, in the beginning, and he even mentioned how he went plant based, and and he changed his diet. And sometimes that's what a play. Everybody's body's different. He said he cut out the red meat and things like that. So maybe maybe that seems to have helped him. And he did, lose the weight. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but that could be, attributed to just the way how he's, able to get up and down the floor more, and just rebound and just place his body. So his conditioning, you never know. And that's what I was trying to say, with the players, just being ready and available. You again, you just don't know, but that seemed to have helped him, with his conditioning. But I'm sorry, go on. You were mentioning about Deuce.
Um, no, I was just saying with Josh Hart energy, but Hartenstein also had a really good game. Um, it wasn't the strongest performance for him, but it was still a solid game. And I think, in all honesty, that was a game where, like I said in the start of this podcast, that of this episode, I felt like they needed him in that game as well. I thought him and Precious had pretty solid games, but do you feel like Hartenstein's minutes should maybe be a little less than 20 a game, just so that he's not? I mean, especially with the next three games coming up, or or do you think maybe he should sit out one of the games? Just because with that Achilles, you just unfortunately you need what makes it less of an injury prone injury is more rest. But this is not really the time, as the Knicks are fighting to keep their spot in the East, and then the playoffs coming, but do you think Hartenstein should be playing maybe a little less than 20 minutes a game? Or with the upcoming games, should maybe certain games Tibbs just sit him out and just rock with who we have?
No, I agree. I think he should sit out. Sims, he did, you know, he held his own. During that Cleveland game, he was a plus. Yeah, limit his minutes. Again, you're gonna need him, you know, in the post after the regular season, and we get ready to come to a close. Let Sims, get in and depending on the matchup, move pressures to the five and Hart to the four. Hart he's played, Hart is like this guy. Listen, I'll play any position you give me. Yeah, I'll play
Mhm.
how many minutes you want. He don't complain, and none of them do for the most part. So yeah, I definitely would like to see I Hart. He's another one play limited minutes if he can.
Mhm.
Because you do have Simpson, you could you have Precious that could definitely come in for
Yeah,
you. So yeah, I would, for sure like to see him, limited or sit out, a game or two. Just like I
yeah,
would like to see Brunson sit out a game or two. Why
same.
not?
I feel like they should be preserved for
Yeah.
that start of the playoffs. I feel like especially when we get down to like that last 10 games or so, or 8, 7 games, you could sit them out, those one or two. We're gonna be entering into the postseason. They don't need to be playing every game. They need to rest, especially Isaiah Hartenstein, because to me, I don't know about you, and maybe you can chime in after I answer this. I don't feel like Mitch is coming back to the second round.
I don't know. They might try to get him for the first, or maybe to see. You know that's that
Exactly.
maybe because definitely see how they do in that first round and yeah, I'm confident they'll definitely get out of there, and they could be. If it's again, I'd rather have them healthy and given 100% than injured, and that they're not the complete selves. So, and that's we as fans we always we want them to play, but for me, at what cost and at what expense do you want them to be a asset or a liability?
Exactly. Paris says Sims doubling and getting back has been huge. Yeah, I think Sims has been playing really well.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's what you've been saying, how you were saying, I feel like he needs to play because he needs to get those reps, and that way he'll be able to get better. Um, Play iHeart in pivotal minutes. Let Precious and Sim play anytime we're up 10. I think Precious and Sim should just play. iHeart needs to rest. I think he should be on very limited minutes. Corey Lee, when you think Mitch is coming back? Is this the butcher you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I'm curious when, seriously, in the chat, when do y'all think that Mitch is coming back? Because the Knicks are gonna need Mitchell Robinson. But
For
when he
sure.
comes back, he's probably only gonna be playing 12 minutes, 15 if you're stretching it. I mean, I just don't, I mean, I don't know. And I could be wrong. Maybe Mitch will come back first round, second game, third game. He'll be ready to come back. But listen, they still didn't even get Randall and OG back yet. So,
Yeah, and if you always notice, they never mention too much of Mitch. They always give us the status and update on OG and Randall. Not so much as Mitch, not since they say he's out of the boot. Like, okay. So what
mm,
else is new? What give us some
right,
more information.
right. Jedi Mind Nix 23. I like that name. He said, just getting on. What's up with JB? JB is They don't have him as playing tonight.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't think
out.
he should play, to be honest. I think that you don't want to stress that injury that more. So Deuce McBride is gonna start. I'm hoping Tibbs is gonna play Shake Milton tonight. I think he should play him. I know
Yeah,
he's in Atlanta.
and then his JB status is what was a contusion. That's what you were saying. He did
Yeah,
have an MRI, and it
yeah,
was clean.
yeah,
So, but he's definitely not playing tonight,
yeah.
which I'm fine with that, and we should all be.
Corey, we got an inside scoop that we don't know. ASAP, he's the key to our defense. So relax, my loves.
For sure, that's I always said, even when Mitch was playing, I said, I loved his, he amped up his offensive game and defensive game because, he gave us those second chance points. And you got to remember, he was even leading, in a defensive board before he got injured. Mitch was up there. And there was even some talk about, oh well, defensive player of the year, which unfortunately we always get slighted, for whatever reason. We barely made it for the All Star. We got two guys in, and they like relax, Knicks fans, But I definitely would love to see Mitch come back and and be that defensive presence and just you know those second chance points he was giving us, offensively, so
He,
that's the butcher you
but he's saying no. Corey Lee is saying he's coming back ASAP. That's what he said.
oh
ASAP.
nah. Mm-mm.
That's why he said ASAP. He's the key to our defense. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I think this Knicks team, once we get back Randall, OG, and Mitch, is going to be very interesting in the playoffs because I think it's going to be monitoring not even so much how the health levels of the players, but I don't think there's going to be an issue with the momentum and guys playing together, but more so the percentages that guys are able to give in a game when they come back from these injuries, from fresh from rehabbing and where they're at. As a lot of players, these guys are not going to be at 100%. So that's where I think that you have to have other guys who's been playing so many minutes be able to sustain and be able to come in and back up to those other guys and contribute as well. So I think that's more so what I'm looking at and gonna be like monitoring is how this Knicks team, like case in point, even when we play Philly, if they don't have Brunson for that game, Maxi's gonna go off. I mean, he's gonna go off regardless, but
Well, Maxi, he's been out. He's listed with a I think a concussion on his what concussion protocol, but he's out. But also we're playing Philly in a back to back,
yeah.
so they're gonna look to take both of them. If not split. So that's what I'm saying. I would rather just Brunson just sit out these two games. You get the rest Saturday because they playing what Sunday and Monday back to back or
Mhm.
something like that. So yeah, I would and hopefully with Jake this he can sit these games out. You know, so
Yeah, I
we'll see.
agree. I think Brunson should sit out. I don't think there's any reason for him. We know he's not playing tonight, but I don't think that there's any reason. Brunson should be sitting out honestly the rest of this week. Just because we don't need that injury, that contusion injury to get any worse. And right now the Knicks need everyone who they can utilize right now, player wise. We can't really afford to keep having any more man down situations. But kudos to this Knicks squad for fighting, for staying alive in the East. And I think it's key that they continue to do that so they don't slip out of that fourth seed spot. And I want to see the Knicks be able to win tonight and and then beat Orlando. So I have the Knicks definitely winning these next few games this week. And if they do, I'm happy. So these are all teams that the Knicks can beat. Orlando's that team that, yeah, I know people have said, well, the Knicks haven't played Orlando healthy, but it doesn't matter. Even with the squad that we have now, don't take your foot off the brake or off the
Okay,
gas
so
pedal.
and now I say the Knicks have to come out strong. They have to punch first. Like you don't want to dig no yourself in this, huge hole. Now it's like you're climbing an uphill battle. Strike first, control the tempo.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they have players that are capable. Just like the Knicks, have players that could, step up and they got guys. So my thing is with the Knicks, they have to like strike first and, you know, um, like how they came out in Cleveland.
Hmm.
It was like Cleveland, they couldn't they as much as they tried, the Knicks kept them at bay for the most part, and this is what they have to do with Atlanta. We're gonna definitely need, you know, um, Dante to, stay aggressive, come out the gate, and just continue, all of them really, just control, just watch your passing. They have been, minimizing their turnovers, so you know into excuse me, I just muted myself into Atlanta's, style. They got Murray, he's capable. We know what he can do. They got that young kid up on their squad, which they wasn't, looking to part ways with him. I forgot his name. That player. Um, I'm gonna look it up though. But and Clint Capella, we know what he could do. Defensively, he's up there with rebounding. But again, the Knicks have to just control and just come out and strike first.
Yeah, I agree. Losing my voice.
Oh yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, I
Um.
agree.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Between some of the
Just. Hmm. Yeah, I
can
mean,
you
I think that the plays like I said, I mentioned earlier, they bought into Tibbs' system. Um, and critics can say what they want about Tibbs, about and yeah, he is playing them, a lot, but he's getting the job done at the same time. That's why I say, like, yeah, he is playing them a lot, but when you got guys that aren't making a contribution, this is what you have to do. And is it his fault? Some injuries, like that that's it's like a freak of nature. You can't predict when a player is going to get injured. So it's like, yeah, he's playing him a lot, but how much can you blame on Tibbs? For a player's injury, they could walk leave the building and get injured. So it's just par for the course for the most part. Is he putting him a lot? Yes, he is. But
yeah,
what when our guys come back and get healthy, you want to see a shift and a difference, and just how they play. And quite frankly, there's going to be a lot of guys that's going to be relegated to the bench. He's going to shorten that rotation, you know. And this is why Burks needs to make the most of his time. He needs to make that impact, man. You want to stay in Tibbs' good graces, you know. So yeah,
yeah, I think
because a lot of players gonna become situational.
yeah, I agree. And I see that happening with Burks. I think if Burks continues on this slump, And honestly, that's why I want Tibbs to play Shake tonight. I hope he does play him. I didn't
Oh
see
yeah,
him.
he is for sure.
Um, I mean, and I agree because he used to play Malachi Flynn. He didn't play him as much, but he was giving him a chance. So I know he's going to give him a chance, especially where the Knicks are right now. Um, yeah, I'm not. I agree with Corey Lee with Parrish Douglas' comment. He said our biggest problem, DiVincenzo doesn't shoot well at home, but I'm not worried about DiVincenzo shooting. He could heat up at any given moment. And actually, he helped save the Knicks a lot with his offense. He's one of the key three guys, him, Hart, and it was Brunson at the time who were carrying the load for the Knicks. So yeah, they have Bogdanovich as well, who's a nice spark off the bench. Parrish said they should start Bogdanovich for early offense.
I said that too, but I was like, because that's what I said in my last in our last podcast. I said,
Mhm.
he was a starter. Like he says, I've been a starter my whole career. For the last 400 and or something 50 something games. And I said, I think it was that Warriors game. I said when he played off. I said, man, I said, I wonder does that affect his play? Again, because we don't know where players at mentally, you
Right.
know, does that, affect him coming off the bench because he's been a starter for the last, umpteen 400 and something games. So, and I was like, well, if he start him, who's getting relegated to the bench? And quite frankly, maybe he should, try it out just to see, you know, how would he respond. And I'm surprised like Tibbs, have it, but I think he seemed to have found his rotation because remember early on how Tibbs was playing with that rotation, you didn't know who was coming out at any given night. So but it's nice that he's found it. But I was like, I said the same thing. I said, man, I said I wonder like how would he respond, by starting but I would definitely love to see that Paris.
But I'm not surprised that Tibbs hasn't played around with the rotation, with the lineup rather, because Tibbs is very stuck in his ways, and unfortunately, he's not going to look to try to start Bogdanovich one games. If he does, it'll be a shocker to me. But I wish that he would do that with having Randall, with having OG, having those key guys out, having to play around with this, switch up the roster. It's okay to do that. So yeah, I don't know why, he's not playing around with trying one guy out one night and see how he plays against certain teams and be able to match against them. I'm not really sure what that's about. Shake is here to save Burks and McBride. He's definitely here to save Burks. McBride is gonna get better. I think what we were looking for in and I don't want to speak too soon, but I think what we were looking for in Grimes to produce and give us, I think McBride is gonna do that. And his game is gonna continue to elevate and he's gonna get better. But yeah, Burks, I don't like what I'm seeing from Burks at all. Do you know how many games Dante played in the Garden before he was in the league? He's from the Big East.
Yeah, and that's when they played. No, I agree. And they played many games. They lived in the Garden when they played at Nova. But I'm not worried about Dante.
Yeah, neither
Like
am I.
Canadian Chef said, he heats up. At any moment. He and prior to that, he went six for the Warriors. He was like 6 for 21. So he's a player that's gonna like shoot because he know. I'm good, I'm a shooter's gonna shoot. And that's like I said, I'm not worried about, DiVincenzo. Not at all.
Really quickly, because I know the game is starting soon.
Yeah.
What are tonight's keys for the game for the Knicks to beat Atlanta?
Um, definitely crash the boards because Capella, he's a rebound machine. Watch it, the passing, get out in transition. guard that perimeter. The Dejounte, what he's gonna, try to be a Nick killer. There's gonna be somebody that's gonna want to try to, oh, I'm that guy. But don't be too focused so much on one individual player. Continue to play your style and don't fall into that trap. And, the Knicks could, I think this is a winnable game, but for the most part, guard that perimeter, watch your passing, get out in transition, and crash those boards.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I also am especially looking forward to. I think it's also going to take good decision making from McBride, as he's going to be the main one managing and handling the ball. So I think
Hmm.
Dukes is going to need to make, the timing needs to be there for him, the decision making on the passes, where he's going to dribble to on the floor, the handoffs, being able to make those decisions of should I pass, should I go for the shot, do I work on a move to get my man off of me? He had a nice move on in Cleveland, and he was able to shake his man off of him, and get to the basket. So I think it's going to be a lot of timing and decision making on Deuce. And then I do want to see both DiVincenzo and Josh Hart take the shots when they see that they have them, and drive, go into the open lane, try to get as many easy points in the paint if you can. I'm looking for the Knicks to try to work on getting more baskets in the paint. I feel like the Knicks have unfortunately gotten away from that. Um, just moving without the ball and then solid ball movement. So I think if the Knicks can combine those, and the defense has to be there, I think they'll be okay for tonight and be able to get the win. I have the Knicks winning tonight, and we'll see.
Yeah, and by the way, that kid name was Jalen Johnson, and he's already scored Atlanta's first 4 points. So,
Yeah.
eh,
So yeah.
yeah, I definitely have them, and then I would love to definitely see them take this game.
Yeah. I think that's it for me. Anything else for you before we get out of here?
No, definitely like to see him, and then because we got that game Friday against Orlando, so hit that like button, subscribe.
Yeah, for sure. Hit the like button, guys. If you are not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Those of you who are new here, welcome. Um, tell a friend to tell a friend about us, and share the channel with us, and share the channel with them. And shout out to the replay gang. Thank you for watching the videos. We appreciate it. We see you guys watching, and those of you who leave us comments. Salute to the chat. Nick's a nice, Eddie C, Corey Lee, King Ribby RM, Parish Duggar, as always, for you guys joining us. And also to those of you who are watching who aren't in the chat, salute to you all for tuning in and watching us. Jedi Mind Nix 23, salute to you. Deraz always comes in at the end. I love it. But he always makes sure to pop in and say what's up. So I appreciate that. And yeah, thank you everybody. Corey Lee. Corey Lisa, how about subscribing to 718 Boys? If y'all haven't subscribed to the 718 Boys, subscribe to them. I gotta reach out to you, Corey, so I could go on your show. Well, Sunday I may be going to the Nothing But Knicks watch party at Legends. So those of you who don't know, um Nothing But Knicks family is gonna have a watch party at Legends in the city. And I know they're actually going to go to the game at the Garden against Philly, and then they're going back to Legends afterwards. So yeah, I haven't been to any Knicks events, but I'll definitely be going to some. And yeah, show some love to the 718 boys. They do their thing, speaking all thing New York Knicks. I know I actually found out about them because I'm subscribed to Blood Orange Tears channel. So that's how I know about you guys. But yeah, salute to all the Knicks content creators. It's a big community. It's nothing but love. And yeah, we are gonna go watch the game. The Knicks are down 6-1. Not sure what's going on there. But yeah, hit the like button, subscribe on your way out, enjoy the game, and we will be back to talk more Knicks. And until next time, we out. Let's go Knicks.
That's right. Let's go Knicks.
This ain't probably a message. All right, we out, guys.